Okay, I wanted to point out something that I noticed. There is a flaw in my player character menu skill tree. Right now it looks fine, except there's a minor issue is the skill tree buttons are all there, even though I have no skill points. So one thing I would like to fix is so that they only show up if you have a point to distribute. But that's not the biggest problem. If I maximize my game view, suddenly the little lines that connect skills that are supposed to be connected, they're no longer in the right spots. If I go back to the regular size, it looks fine again. But if I scale left to right, they get off. They're no longer aligned with the skills that they're associated with. Same thing vertically. In fact, it's more noticeable vertically. So anyway, those are the issues that I'm going to solve today. So the solution is going to be in the code, and that's my favorite part. So let's go ahead and look at, there's just two scripts that are changing. And the first one is a very small change in the player character script. I'm just adding a method to get skill points, just returns the skill points value. And the reason we need to do that is because skill points is private int. So normally it wouldn't be accessible outside, but we don't want to allow it to be set outside, but we do want it to be able to be got. So we will do it this way. Okay, the next script we are going to edit is player character menu, and this has some more significant changes, changing the way it operates in a fundamental way, at least part of it. The first thing that we need is this visual element line container. And so instead of the lines just being a child of the skill tree directly, the lines are going to have their own parent object in the UI Toolkit hierarchy, and this line container is going to be that parent. Now, in the onEnable method, there's a lot of stuff that stays the same, but at the end, we're going to get a reference to that line container. And if it is null, meaning the line container didn't actually exist already, then we'll go ahead and create it. And when we create it, we want the position to be absolute and the width and height to be 100%. And then we're going to add that line container as a child of the skill tree. And then we're going to send it to the back so that all the lines appear behind all the tiles. Okay, and then the last thing that we do in onEnable is we register a callback. So we say when the event GeometryChange event happens, we're going to run this onSkillTree resize. And onSkillResize is a new method, and we'll look at that later. But we're also defining another method called onDisable. So it corresponds to onEnable. And onDisable, we want to unregister that callback, the same GeometryChangedEvent callback. We're going to unregister that onSkillTree resized method. And the reason we need to even do that is because let's say the skill tree becomes disabled, such as whenever you hide it, but then the next time it's enabled, it would call this register callback again. And the problem with this is that this allows for duplicate callbacks to be registered. So you would be registering the event multiple times, and that means the code would be run multiple times every time you open it, or every time it hits that event, it would run all the callbacks that have been registered for that event. And so every time you enable it, you would get a duplicate. So to prevent the duplication, on disable, we remove the callback so that there's always only 1 or 0. So as soon as it's enabled, the callback is registered, and then it is triggered only once per event. So here is our onSkillTree resize. It's a new method, and all it does is it calls our draw connections. So I guess we could have just modified draw connections and registered that one, but this just separates the concerns of like event handling versus the methods that do the logic. So the next change is a removal. So previously, whenever player menu is open or closed, we would run this a little bit of logic, would say if the connections are not drawn, draw the connections. And we would use the invoke method to call the draw connections method after 1/10 of a second. And the reason we did this is because if you did it immediately, the skill tiles would not be in the right positions, and so the calculations for the connections would not be correct either. We no longer need to do that because of the way we're using GeometryChangedEvent. So that is a more elegant way to do this. The skill tiles should all be in the right places by the time we call this draw connections. Okay, no more changes for a while. And then here's another thing that we remove in the onSkillUpClicked method. So this is the skill upgrade buttons. Whenever we click them, we're checking if the current level of the skill is greater than or equal to the max skill level. So in that case, we would remove the upgrade button from the tile. And that worked fine, but I've noticed that it actually makes errors. So anytime you try to reference that button, it will generate an error if the button doesn't exist. So instead of removing it, we're going to do something else. So we no longer need this piece of code. The next change is in refresh skill status. So anytime a skill is potentially changed, the status changes for whatever reason, we run this refresh skill status method. And the first thing we need to do that's different is for each skill, we're going to get a reference for that upgrade button. We get the tile.q skill up button as the name of them. And then we use that reference. If the status of the tile is true, meaning it's enabled, we're going to set this upgrade button's Style.Display to flex, which just means it's visible the way it's supposed to be displayed. And then if it's false, then it's going to be hidden. So the button will not appear if the skill tile is disabled. So instead of having a see-through, partially transparent tile with a partially transparent upgrade button that you can't click, we just won't have an upgrade button on those tiles. And then if the number of points that the player has to distribute is equal to 0, or the skill's skill level is greater than or equal to the maximum skill level, then we will also hide the upgrade button, set its display style to none. And this way, if you don't have any points, you can't upgrade any button, so all of the upgrade buttons are going to be hidden. And if maybe you do have points, but one of the skills is already at its maximum level, then that upgrade button will be hidden. Okay, now we get down to our draw connections method. So this has some changes also. We're just going to confirm whether or not we have a line container. If we don't, we return. If we do, we're going to clear it. So every time we need to draw connections, we don't want to draw duplicate lines. We want only the lines to appear that are the most recently created ones. So we clear out the old ones first. And then we go through the skill tree, all the skills, and then we define a skill tile, a source tile. And if that source tile is not there, we continue to the next skill tile. If it is there, then we go in to look at this prerequisite skills. And then if that target tile does not exist, we continue to the next prerequisite skill tile. And then one thing that we remove from our code is this part where we were checking to see if these calculated start and end X and Y values, if they were all 0, then we would say, something didn't work right. We need to retry drawing the connections after 1/10 of a second again. We no longer need that because of the new way we're doing things with the registered event. Okay. And then at the very end, once we have drawn the line, we add the line to the line container instead of adding it to the skill tree. We don't need to send the line to the back of the skill tree. The line container is already at the back of the skill tree. So the line itself is just with other lines. That doesn't matter which ones are on top because they all look the same. Okay. That's all the scripting changes. Okay, so now let's test it out. We've got our skill tree. It looks pretty good. Notice there are no buttons on the jump, sprint, and health, or anything because we don't have any skill points. So, but let's also try the resize thing. I resize to full size, and the lines are still lining up with the skill tiles. I'm gonna go back and do this thing where I drag the borders back and forth. The lines stay lined up, even the vertically one. Okay, that is as intended. And let's just make sure that when we get skill points, we do get the buttons. So we'll just get a few. Okay. So now that we have level 3 and 5 skill points, we now have some buttons to upgrade, and that we could get some skills, and the buttons appear when the tile is enabled, and they don't appear if the skill points is 0. Just confirm the buttons go away if we run out of skill points. Let's put all my points in sprint. And boom, no more buttons. Okay, that was a successful test. And this is a build, by the way, so we know it works in build. Thank you for watching LewyT Amusement Academy Level 35, Fixing the Skill Tree Glitches. As usual, you can get the source code from the GitHub just linked in the description. If you have a question, drop a comment or join our Discord community to discuss, also linked in the description. If you learned something today, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the love with your friends, frenemies, enemies, and even your nemesis. Come back down to LewyT Game Lab where we learn to create digital life, and next time we will create procedural trees.